We got big news for all of you Broncos country fans, and we're not talking new uniforms. We're talking Zack Wilson, QB1, modern day Drew Brees. You heard it here first from Broncos Run Tree.
Whoa.
499 super chat. Thank you so much for starting the show off with a bang. We appreciate you. So kudos to you, and kudos to you, Broncos country, for tuning in. It's Let's Talk Broncos. Bree Maestas, Zach Seegers, Joey Richards. I think we're all feeling a little feisty today, so this should be a fun one. Start dropping all of your opinions right now. I don't even care if they're about the Broncos. I just want to see all the comments right now.
I've got some opinions right here. First off, modern day Drew Brees. I think that's actually a pretty accurate comp in the sense that post playing career, Drew Brees has lost all ability to throw with his right arm. He can't even throw a football anymore, like 5-10 yards. And in that sense, I think their quarterbacking ability is probably comparable at this point.
This is the funniest thing to me, the Zack Wilson thing. Something about Sean Payton going to the Nathaniel Hackett well. I love so much. I love it. I love that he looked at Nathaniel Hackett's quarterback and was like, yeah, the coach probably fucked him up. Let me come over here. That's how I feel like it happened. That's how I wanted it to happen. No, but yeah, no, Zack Wilson was traded. I don't think the Broncos think he's good. I tweeted on the timeline. It's like putting $2 on the lottery is what essentially this was, in my opinion. It's okay, cool. It's very small risk. You lose $2. We might get a quarterback though, possibly, very, very small chance, possibly though. I think that if Sean Payton makes Zack Wilson into a competent quarterback, we should build a statue of him in front of the stadium ASAP. That's something we should do immediately. And then that's kind of my take on the Zack Wilson stuff. It doesn't move me in either direction.
Yeah, I'm totally with Joey here. I think it's very. I'm annoyed a little with Broncos country. Bree talked about how we're coming in hot. I'm coming in hot because I'm a little annoyed with the overreactions I've seen on both ends of the spectrum. This move is so meaningless. Like, and I am passionate about the take that it is so meaningless. It's what Joey just said. It's like putting $2 on the line. Shout out to David Talks Broncos for giving us $5, but it's like putting $2 on the line. It's so low risk. And look at what the Broncos are telling you with this move, right? They're moving from the 6th round to the 7th round, and $5.5 million was too rich for them to do that. On Zack Wilson's contract, they forced the Jets to eat half of the money. They're already eating a good bit of dead cap by getting off of Zack Wilson, but the Broncos made them eat more to have the trade happen. Like, I just listen to what they're telling you here. That is the type of like, if they cut him in training camp, it'd be totally acceptable given their investment on him. It's such a minor investment. It would be like if they cut Sam Mustipher in training camp, which is very, very possible. It's very similar to the Sam Mustipher signing in the sense that this is a guy who is young, might be able to turn into a starter. We've seen him play early in his NFL career and be really, really bad. But we need a warm body in this room, and we don't want to be in a position where we're forcing ourselves to draft one. So let's sign this cheap option, or in Wilson's case, trade for it. That's all it is. It's Sam Mustipher, but he's a quarterback. Anyone thinking that this is the franchise savior or that this is leaving the Broncos in ruin, which I've seen both of those takes on Twitter, are being so overdramatic. It's making my eyes and ears bleed. I can't stand it.
Shouts out to David Talks Broncos for the $4.99 super chat. Really appreciate you, David. Thank you so much. If we don't draft a QB and roll with Stidham and Wilson, it's Broncos country. Let's die. One of us has to get that tattooed on our bodies by the end of the season. It goes on the wheel of misery. Coop said, and people are commenting so quickly, hold on, Joey, I'll get to you in just a second. Did Mustipher throw 60 yards on air at his pro day, though? I think not. Listen, guys, I've been calling this since March. I pretty much knew Zack Wilson was going to end up a Bronco, and that's just what happens sometimes. I Bloody Married too hard, flew too close to the sun, and I manifested today just as we see it happening. So sorry, not sorry. But also, I think you have to give a little credit to Zack Wilson and what he was able to do with the Jets and say that this isn't the worst move ever. Asking whether or not he's going to be the savior of the Broncos, though, is giving me flashbacks because I don't know if Zack is ever going to give him any sort of credence if he does play well. It's going to be Drew Lock 2.0 all over again. Be finding a reason to hate him to death, and I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got another little fun Zack Wilson take. Here's the optimistic side, and I do think he is like a scratch ticket in the sense that like the odds of any substantial payoff is so far-fetched, but it is technically possible. Here's the case for it. I think for this move, if the Broncos end up not drafting someone, Zack Wilson has unbelievable physical gifts. That is true. He's plenty mobile enough. He can create plays with his legs, and his arm is ludicrous. Those two things are absolutely true with Zack Wilson, although he's been a very bad NFL quarterback. He is 8 months older than Bo Nix. He's pretty much the same age as Bo Nix. And again, he's costing like the equivalent if you, because you can calculate like a move down by looking at the difference between the two picks and putting it on a trade chart. This is like a very, very late 7th round pick, basically. So you're getting a bet that I don't think is that different from like Bo Nix. It is worse, but I don't think it's that different. For 6 rounds cheaper, I don't know. I'm a fan of that. And you're not beholden to it at all like you would be if you took Bo Nix at 12. I don't know. And it frees you up to where you don't have to take Bo Nix at 12. You can sit back, see if Bo Nix falls to the 2nd round and like trade up for him then. Like it just buys you some flexibility. That's what this move is all about. Like flexibility and patience and being chill at the quarterback position. That's what the Broncos can do now. They don't have to sweat forcing a move between now and September.
Yeah, I get the only thing I really have an issue with is that Zack Wilson is going to be wearing the throwback uniforms. Terrible. I hate that that's about to happen in the Broncos country. I hate that we have to see that. Like, that's a terrible thing to even see. This is disgusting with Zack Wilson in it. I love this. This is the best uniform in the league to me. Zack Wilson in this, it goes to like a 2 out of 10. I'm not a fan of that. I think what the Broncos couldn't get the uniform right with Zack Wilson wearing it. That's my only really big issue there. I honestly would rather see Jarrett Stidham or something like Zack Wilson in his uniform. Don't even get me started. I hate it.
I do want to see them keep the number 3 Wilson jersey in rotation, though. I think that would be very funny and like a nice, subtle little dig because he's obviously not wearing number 2. Okay, they've kind of protected number 12. That's been something they've been doing a little less in recent years, but they've generally protected that because of the former quarterback. I think Marlon Briscoe, but I could totally be butchering that name. So it's probably not one of those.
Montreal took it.
Huh?
So Montreal had 12, so why wouldn't anybody else?
They've been a little. Montreal was like an exception, though. They've been fairly protective with it.
Retire the number 3. Retire it. I'm done with it. After Zack Wilson, retire it. We're done with 3. Cursed. I don't ever want to see it again.
It'd be a funny little dig, I think. Just like have him be 3. Don't even let him pick his number. He's Zack Wilson. Give him number 3. Keep the Wilson jerseys in rotation. Take all clearance when trying to sell at the Empower store. To Joey's point, we don't want to see Zack Wilson in this new one. I know where you can find a lot of cheap Wilson number 3 jerseys if he needs to wear some for practice.
I'd make Zack Wilson show up to practice in a Jets uniform still. I'm not – that's what's going on at my practice. He's not wearing the throwbacks. I don't care what's going on. He's not doing it. He's not ruining those for me.
Joe, you made me laugh so hard that I got a stitch in my side and I'm not able to stand up straight. Well, hold on. Wait a second.
Buy a Zack Wilson. He better buy his own jersey off the discount rack at the Jets facility. He's not coming here and wearing a Broncos throwback and ruining it for me. That's not
what happening. Is going on. Okay, hold on a second because we just got another super chat, but I do want to go into the throwback conversation because I'm irritated at all of you. Mr. Rocket with a $4.99. I don't understand how these people get paid to create garbage. For a second, I thought he was talking about us. And the beautiful classics bury the New Jerseys more. Change is not always good. is not always good change. Mr. Rocket, we appreciate you. Thanks. I don't think I've seen your name before, or at least not recently. So the fact that you came in here on a day like today, on a beautiful Monday, and decided to throw, some cash our way, we appreciate you. That's going directly to the live draft fund. You can catch us on Thursday. And I do want to shout that out real quickly because we're all getting very excited with anticipation as you can come meet us, hang out at the Rock Bar and Grill here in Aurora. Let me throw that up real quick for you. And I just want you guys to know that you can come by, meet us, talk to us, have a drink with us, free to attend, food and drink specials. We've got some special giveaways going away along as well. There will be guests. It's a watch along through the first round of the draft. And if you're not going to be in Denver in person, what better way to spend your evening than to live stream the entire thing with us, the crew? All of the LTB contributors will be in attendance one way or the other. So please keep that in mind while you do so. Mr. Rocket, shouts out to you. Let's talk about those throwbacks because I think it's important to note that a lot of people are so very salty that this wasn't some form of variation of the primary jersey that the Broncos were going to be wearing. Now, I want to say this 77 reference is the best one. And I'm very happy that these are back. I love the color rush jerseys, but this is exactly what everyone wanted to see. And I think they listened to what the fan base wanted. You've got the gorgeous orange sunset color with the robin's egg blue, the old school D logos. And I know everyone says, well, why don't we just roll these out full time? And that's because it's a throwback jersey. You have to have some sort of symbolism in how special that novelty is to look forward to these jerseys being worn. If you did different variations in different colors, modern upscale with the current colors, if they did like a midnight and orange sunset and snow-capped white that they have right now in this iteration, I want you to see this up close because I want to prove a point here that the throwback, I'm going to throw this up real quick, that if you look at them side by side, this is obviously team president Damani Leach here with all 4 of the uniforms on display. This is KOA Colorado's photo from the merch and kind of rollout party that they had. If you see the throwback and the new version of the primary orange jersey with the white pants side by side, you almost can't tell that they're different jerseys. I think what the Broncos and the organization tried to do is give off similar vibes here with that throwback jersey and still give an updated, overhauled, and brand new look for the organization. If you went with an old school D, if you went with the old school colors, I think you lose all of that entirely. And you lose that on merch sales. You don't get the money that rolls in from people going, well, I want the throwback jersey because it's fresh as hell. And I also want the new primary jersey. So I just want to throw that out there. I'm going to throw this back up on the screen. And let's talk a little bit about this uniform in general, because I think it looks absolutely stunning, especially with the striped socks.
Yeah, the throwback is an easy A+. Like, I think there's a reason, and we're seeing it right now, why the fan base was clamoring so hard for this one. Cal had a snarky retort to your, wanting to savor the throwback uniforms that I think, like, I wouldn't go that strong, but because I do like the ones they went with. I do think this was a superior look. And I get that, like, hey, it's a new era. Like, let's not just keep going back to the old thing, but I do think there's some merit to, like, I don't know. This is a really good look. Like, just do the thing that works. Like, it works. And it's not the right answer for everyone, right? This is all subjective and there's no answer that would please everyone. But this is an answer that would have pleased 80-90% of the fan base. And just like the general public, and with good reason. Like, it's a very clean look. That said, I do like the new jerseys. I think the point you were making about them still kind of being a modernized version of that look is apt. It even has some similarities, I think, to the 1965 look with, like, the big blue sleeves. I think the jerseys themselves and I think the pants themselves, like, in a vacuum, are really, really nice. All of my problems come down to, like, everything around it. So, like, starting off with the helmet, I think the road rash marks on the back are so bad, and I don't get the reasoning for it. It seems to me like it's one of these classic cases of a uniform company, like, trying to create some faux narrative. They put this arrow on the back. It doesn't go all the way across the helmet, which I do think is good. It'd be uglier if it went the whole way. but it's like a little thing on the back of the helmet, or it's not little, but it's on the back of the helmet and it's pointing straight up to signify the franchise's continued ascent to the summit or whatever. That's stupid. I don't know. Like, we don't need to signify the Broncos' continued ascent to the summit. We all like the throwback, right? Where's the signal to the summit or whatever the fuck, or the signal to the thinning air in Denver? But we don't need that in the uniform. Make it look good. We don't need these like hodgepodge narratives. So that annoys me. And then some of the ways they like mash together. Like, part of the selling point with this update was we want a uniform set that can mix and match, and we can have the whites with the blues and the whites with the oranges and all these things. I don't think the mixes and match combos, I don't think a lot of them work. I think a lot of them are fairly ugly. That's my other problem. And then finally, the NFL rule ruining the midnight blue ones. I think the midnight blue should be the very best look on here, but you have to wear it with a white helmet, and the white helmet can only be worn with the midnight blue. You're not going to get a white out. You're not going to get a blue out. I think those two, an all white look and an all blue look, would have the potential to be the very best looks available here. The current best look the Broncos have is their all navy look. And it's crazy to me that they've moved away from it. It's not really ownership's fault. It's the NFL and their helmet rule fault. I hope that gets updated. The fact it just got updated this year, it has me hopeful that this is still just like a loophole in it, like a flaw in this brand new rule. And hopefully they iron it out as soon as next year. But yeah, the helmets are my big problem right now. And then some of the combos. I'll shut up.
Let's talk though. I want to comment on the midnight blue because it is a darker iteration of any navy we've seen the Broncos wear before. And I really like it. I really like the way it looks on that matte helmet. It's deep, it's dark. It kind of represents how the mountains get really silhouette and dark at night when you see them. I love it. I know a lot of people have reacted that it's not the Broncos blue. Well, it's the Broncos blue now. So they've been through plenty of iterations of blue over the years. And I think this is really the ownership's way to make their mark without getting away from orange primary. If you'll see the reference photo that I've thrown up there, Turbo Duran with Broncos uniforms are whack. Thanks for joining the show. Appreciate your comment. We're having these conversations over here. I'm sorry, I keep clicking on stuff. But look at the midnight blue with the orange jersey and the midnight blue pants. Like, I like that combination as well. I think that looks good. But Zach, your point of not having an all midnight or all white out, that is kind of a major flaw and loophole. Joey, I'm throwing it over to you. I think you got some stuff cooking over there.
I do. Not only is the helmet thing an issue, they just mess it. Zach, you said it's the NFL's rules. I agree. Blah 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 blah. But the mix and match is terrible. Why are we putting the white helmets on the blue? Like, why is that the choice? Who made that decision? That's the issue I have. The Broncos should have put the white helmet with the white uniforms and the blue with the blue uniforms. That's what should have happened. The midnight blue with that. I have okay, let me pull this back up here. This just looks crazy to me. I think that if you put this blue helmet on Javonte, this jersey's crazy. Like, I love it. I love this whole deal right
and
here.
And that might be possible. I'll clarify quick. The rule says that like the alternate helmet, which is the white helmet, can only be worn with the alternate jersey. So that to me makes me think that you should be allowed to wear the navy helmet with the alternate jersey, right? The thing is, you can only wear the alternate helmet with the alternate. I don't know. It seems like you should be able, like, the white helmet can't move around, but the navy jersey should be able to move around with the different helmets. That said, every single display, including the one where, like, in the video, they show up the like 8 different possible combinations of jersey or whatever. Every single navy jersey is paired with a white helmet, and every white helmet paired with a navy jersey. So I think that is like a cemented pairing that I think you can put white pants with it maybe, but yeah, it's blue tops and white helmet.
Yes. So I think the jersey itself is fine. I like the blue, actually. I do. If I covered the white helmet and I put the blue on it, I think this is their best jersey right here. I think with the white, it's their worst, though. With the white helmet, it's their worst one. I really do. I don't like this uniform with that. My favorite right now, and I think we should go one by one if you guys are cool with this, of these and just do a little rating. My favorite's the white with the white pants and blue helmet right now. That's my favorite combination I've seen the Broncos roll out. Other than the classic, throwback jerseys. The throwbacks are an automatic A+ in my book. Those are ridiculously fire. I can't wait to see them rock those this year. If they get blown out in those, I might have to quit being a Broncos fan. This will be the Let's Talk Nuggets podcast. Anyways, the blue helmet with the white and white pants is my favorite. What do you guys rate that one, Bree? Like 1 out of 10.
Which one was that?
The white jersey, and then we're going to go white pants, blue helmet. Like, give me your rating on that. That's my favorite, personally.
White jersey, blue pants, blue helmet.
White jersey, white pants, blue helmet.
Oh, I am such a sucker for the orange jerseys that I think the orange jerseys have to be number one for me. Your combo, I like the orange. I really like the blue, and the white jerseys have never been my favorite. Never, like whenever they're worn. I'm not big on the white jerseys. The whiteout look was probably the closest I got to being into it, but yeah. I don't know if I just don't like that necessarily. I'm trying to see the white pants here so you can see like the here, but you can't see them on the blue iteration of the jersey. So kind of missing it out here. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a contrarian. I'm trying to, my sense of what I like to see is a lot different, I think, than what Broncos fans think of when they think of the team. That midnight navy does something completely different for me. But the orange jersey, I think, is my favorite out of all of them. And then obviously the throwback is.
Knowing the Broncos, they're going to put that throwback jersey on the on one of the other uniforms. They're going to be out of control this year. They're going to take the mix and match to a new level. We're going to see the navy blue jersey with the throwback pants and the white helmet. It's going to be really fucked up. Anyways, Zach, which one is your favorite iteration of the jerseys? Which one is your favorite?
I think I might go with the same as you. I really like the like all white with the blue on top. And I'm saying that as someone who generally is right in lockstep with Bree. I'm absolutely so like it drives me crazy when teams not named the Dallas Cowboys wear like white at home. It's like, no, white is not your primary color. Like I think all the other leagues have it wrong. Like how the Nuggets wear white at home, or most teams wear white at home. It's bizarre to me. You should be wearing your team colors at home, and then like not being able to show them off at the road or on the road. That's like, yeah, you should. It should be all the colors when you're at home. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. This is the first Broncos white uniform that I've been alive for. I wasn't alive for the old look, so I didn't have like takes on it at the time. Joey's busted out like the retro throwback. He's got a John Elway throwback that I think looks stellar. But when I've seen it on like film, it's never wowed me. It's never been a jersey I've really loved. This white jersey, I think, is awesome. I think this might be the Broncos' best white jersey already. It really works for me. I think all white, it's going to work great. I think it works well with the navy helmet. I wish we could have an all white whiteout look. But this is still really, really sweet. Again, just looking down, you can see that stupid arrow. That's the one thing that really annoys me. But Jonathan,
I don't mind it for some reason.
A good model for this one. It looks cool.
I don't mind the arrow for some reason. I don't know why it's there also, though. I can't really explain the arrow, but I also don't think it's terrible. My issue is 5280. Guys, I'm tired of it. I'm done with it. I don't want to hear anymore. Like, we're literally like maybe 5 years away from one of our Denver teams just changing their name to the Altitudes. It's out of control. I mean, it doesn't matter what sport we are in. We have a halftime, people blowing it into the mask. We got the whole deal going on. I'm tired of it. We don't want that anymore.
I love that, Joey. That whole that whole fourth quarter entering it, the music that plays, the goosebumps that you get, especially if it's a night, like a nice night out, and the bass that comes off this, I'm getting chills thinking about it. And I'm there, for all the home games. So I don't know if that's why it's so near and dear to my heart. What I will agree with you on, though, I'm not sick with 5280 being a thing for Colorado sports or its involvement in game days for the Broncos. But the idea of it popping up all over jerseys, I didn't like it for the Nuggets. I don't really love it for the Broncos, but I don't find it an issue here being stitched in the way that it was. It was so in your face on the Nuggets jerseys. I think that's where I was like, okay, we kind of lost the sauce here. We've gone too far. My whole thing with the subtle mountains is that on first glance, it is very Chargers-esque. And I think a lot of people have been feeling like, ooh, wait a second, that really looks like a bolt. But when you see it from this angle, and I think when you see it on this white jersey that you guys are really hitting the head here, is that I really, really love the idea that there's a white jersey I don't hate anymore. So I think this is a good callback for that. Paul says Bree wants bats somewhere. I mean, seriously, Damani, I thought we were on good terms. You couldn't sneak in a silhouette there for me. I thought we were cool like that. But yeah, 5280 as a text-based motif for things to me is a little cliche. But Zach.
Yeah. 280 things excessive, the triangles, the dots.
Is that what the triangles mean?
Thing.
There's something with altitude? Or
yeah,
mountains?
The triangles don't represent mountains. They represent raising elevation. Same thing with the arrow on the back represents a climb to the summit or whatever. It's all this stuff that I think truly all the worst aspects of the uniform, maybe not all, 90% of the problematic aspects with the uniform tie back to trying to create some altitude narrative or some narrative with the jersey. Like Joey said, just make it look cool. And personally, I'm with you, Bree. I like the 5280 thing a lot. I think it's really fun at the games and at the Nuggets games. It's a good little atmosphere thing for the stadium. I think it's awesome for the atmosphere of the game because it's the atmosphere of the game, literally, Yeah. That works for me. Plastering it all over the jersey's a little iffier. I think it can be done. And I'm fine with the way the Broncos did it here. It's understated, like a bumper on the front of the helmet. I think that's honestly nicer than the big Broncos they had. Details I wanted to comment on, but I keep forgetting. Fully with Bree on the blue. I think the new blue is really cool. I think my biggest problem with the navy was it's so boring. Like Joey said, there's so many teams with this navy color. This is different. And I think it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm a fan of it.
Zach, you said it. This is the issue I have with the altitude thing. We just don't think about that when they're playing with the uniforms, or even when I'm wearing the uniforms. That's literally, we're not going to remember the triangles mean altitude in a month. We aren't. That's something no one's going to care about whatsoever, at all. They're going to be looking at the uniforms. They're going to be like, those look good or those look bad. So I would rather my team just go out there and be like, we're making cool uniforms than trying to tie in something. That's my take on it. Jacob says he cares. Shout out to Jacob. I don't. I don't care about the altitude at all. And it's not like the opposing teams would be looking at it like, damn, those triangles, man, they're getting to me like, I really am having a hard time breathing out here. It's ridiculous.
They're supposed to, here's what I don't understand is that the holes on the lettering are all triangles. It's like they were like, where else can we put them? And they just started riffing on we could sneak one here and we could put one here. And I think they overdid it by just one. So there's a saying that when you go to leave your house and you've put on all your jewelry and accessories, that you should maybe take one piece off before you leave. That's very an old school way of thinking. Maybe they should have walked back one design element and it probably would have been okay, but they didn't. Somebody's saying that Mike Kliss commented that an NFL helmet is 15% smaller, that the helmets are smaller. Are the helmets smaller now, guys?
I don't know.
Yeah, the horses on the helmet are 15%. The two details I keep reading to mention. The logos on the helmet are 15%, 10-15% smaller now, which I think is fine. I don't have a strong take on that either way. I thought
You
they were fine
don't?
the size they were.
That's
I don't think them
shocking.
being smaller is a problem. The font, though, here's something I have a take on. The font. This is so stupid. They changed the Broncos font, which I think is fine, good. Honestly, I think that the change is good. They didn't change it on the nameplate, that's so sweet. Change it there too. You're changing the font on the back of the jersey, on the numbers, on everything has a new font, except for the part that says Broncos across the chest, which they're keeping the old font.
I
So
assume their text consultant said that font was also a serif that fell in line with the new font, and that all teams stay standardized with their mini fonts. Is my only explanation. It sounds. Everyone's very mad about the fonts. You're not the only one, Zach. I didn't want to call you out individually, but Alex does YouTube hates the mismatched fonts, or maybe he just was pointing out that it was mismatched fonts. D Bronx has so many feelings he can't articulate them all right now. That's fair. We'll be here all week long. Going live on Wednesday, going live on Thursday. I want you guys to remember, and I'm going to point it out one more time for all the newbies popping in the chat, that we're over at the Rock Bar and Grill on Thursday live for the draft. You can come meet all of us if you want to come by and say hello, or if you just want to stop by for some food and drink specials and watch the draft alongside of us, because we still have no idea or inclination of what the Broncos are going to do. It's only Monday and they've upset us this far. I wonder how far they can go. Joey.
Yes, show up there Thursday, please, everybody. It's going to be amazing. And if you can't show up, make sure you're tuning in to the show. It's going to be amazing. I have one more take on these reveals. It's that Javonte Williams, they need to give him a helmet that fits. This is outrageous. I'm having a hard time figuring out if it's the white helmets I don't like, or if it's just the crossbar on his face mask going across his eyes, because it doesn't fit.
Doesn't have good vision.
I don't like it. Exactly. Maybe that's the issue right there. It's why he has a hard time in his own block scheme. We need to get that crossbar out of his eyes. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if we put a different person in this blue one, if I'd like it more. Just because this helmet is that. I mean, we need better people trying to get this picture done. This is kind of like when the quarterbacks throw in the movies and they've just never thrown before. That's kind of what I'm getting the vibe off of this helmet.
All right.
No one has anything to say on that one.
I'm
actually in the chat too about Patrick Paul. If the Broncos end up with Patrick Paul on Thursday, you guys will not see me again.
It'll be a good live reaction though, so make sure you can show up to the Rock and catch Joey's reaction live. I will say one thing, one last uniform take, because Max commenting you can't change it for 4 years. I do believe you can change the helmet sooner. I do believe the rule behind the jersey, the justification there is you don't want all these fans buying a jersey and then the next season that jersey's tossed out and they're screwed. The helmet, and there is still like an approval process or whatever. I think if fans are loud enough about like the upset with how they mismatched the helmet colors, one, and two, the big fucking orange arrow on the back of it, I do think those are elements that could change. Like looking at the Washington Commanders, they had 3 different helmet decals in a 4 year span. So it is achievable. That's the one thing I'll say.
Zach, you didn't get your take off about being so disgruntled by the orange arrow on the stream. We were talking about it off camera. So I just want to fight you right now on it, because I think it is such a wild thing to be upset about, is that a decal, that stripe that doesn't go all the way up top, is just an additive to the back of a helmet, and you don't like it. Like, it detracts from the Navy helmet. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it looks bad. You know what would look good? A matte navy helmet, a like shiny matte navy helmet, like it looks like from the front. It looks great from the front. Man, also notice how in the reveal video, whenever they were showing the back of the helmet, they fucking sped that shit up because they didn't want you to see it. They are intentionally hiding that aspect. I think in the reveal.
So? You think they're intentionally hiding it?
I think they saw the outrage a couple of days ago when it leaked, and I think they are trying to downplay it a little. And I think that's why they fucking sped up the turn on it. On every single shot, they were speeding up the turn. They did not want you to see those weird road mark stripes. And I just, I think it's a bad element. I think it could have looked decent. It's not that like you couldn't have any sort of helmet stripe that looked good or any sort of arrowing that looked good. It's very achievable. The old Broncos helmet stripe looked decent. This new one, like the fact that it's only 3/4 on the back, just what teams, what sports, what football teams have a helmet with Bree? You asked for it. You can't then fucking bitch and moan that I'm talking about it.
I'm just saying.
What team has a logo that only covers the back quarter of its helmet? Like, who has that? It's like that shitty Von Miller hairdo he tried out for a week and got clowned on. Why are we doing that on the helmet? You know why no one has that on their helmet? Because it's hideous. There's a reason the Broncos are the first to do that shit. It's bad.
Zach,
I want to point out you can't do shiny and matte at the same time. Just want it to be.
Well, I don't know the right word because look at them. See, they got some sheen to them, but they're also matte. They're not the glossy. Like look at the throwback. That's the same material that the 1997 helmets were. The new ones are like more metallic, but it's not like a glossy thing. How would you describe that, Bree?
It's matte. Matte is the word.
It's matte.
What are we talking about? It's matte.
It does have a glossy finish.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Gloss is bitch and moan. I know. I cannot believe that Zach just said I was bitching and moaning. Like, I don't know why I'm working in this fucking kind of environment.
You were going like this.
I can't believe that
you never made a face live on camera.
And I've been appropriately called out for it.
The chat is upset. We haven't mentioned cornerback Levi Wallace getting signed by the Broncos.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Levi Wallace is the Bronco cornerback, vet option for the Broncos. If he plays, that means the young guys were not good. That's ultimately what it means. It's a lot like the Zack Wilson signing, where it's like it doesn't really change anything. It doesn't change much at all. It doesn't like if that ends up happening, they screwed up elsewhere. Is my take. So that's I'm not it's a good signing because they went out there and got a vets guy, but hey, if he ends up starting, it's probably not good. That's my take.
Yeah, it's just like the Zack Wilson signing. I'm glad you used that comp. It was the same one I'm going to use, like with Sam Mustafa or whatever. This is an option so that the Broncos aren't forced to. That's exactly what it is. Like Levi Wallace was very bad for the Steelers last year when he first visited the Broncos. I like pulled up a game of his because Steelers fans were like, "I'm telling you, this guy sucked." And yeah, he was very not good. He would be a considerable downgrade on like Fabian Moreau, and Fabian Moreau wasn't good. So Joey's totally right. If he ends up starting, the Broncos are in trouble at cornerback. Like that is a huge indictment on both Riley Moss and Damari Mathis and George Payton and Sean Payton for making those investments. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't sweat it at all. It's a nice piece that makes it so that they don't have to draft a guy in round one to like fill out the room. They don't have to sweat it quite as much. What food is he?
Food is his.
God, I don't know. Something so forgettable and replaceable, like
Kraft
like those cheap off-brand like Cheeto products that have no flavor to them. They're just like styrofoam.
We don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of any of this. Can you give an example, please?
You're not from Boulder. If you grew up in Boulder, you had either you were eating them or you had some friends that had parents that went to some weird health food stores and had some whack school lunches. And I'm telling you, those health food Cheetos, like packing peanuts, man, not an appealing snack.
The one thing I is crazy. Levi Wallace is only 28. I swear on everything. I've been playing with him in Madden since like Madden 07. That's one thing I just can't wrap my head around is that he's 28. That's crazy. Anyways.
That is wild. Guys, I do want to know though, how do you feel or what is the probability that once kind of veteran obligations are through the offseason, through OTAs, does Justin Simmons get re-signed with the Denver Broncos prior to the start of next season?
There's a chance. I think it's possible. Like, he's still out there now. His family's in Denver. Like, he really loves Denver. We just saw him at the Nuggets game. Like, hell, Mario, like, friend of the show, he's good friends with Justin Simmons. I trust Mario's reporting that Justin Simmons does really like Denver and enjoys living here. And I think once Justin Simmons retires, he'll probably live in Colorado. So it's possible. He's also a family guy, might not want to move his family, might not want to spend a season away from his family. Absolutely reasons why it could happen. I think it's more likely, though, that whatever team wants to sign Justin Simmons is a team like the Ravens or something, like Eagles, for example, fall into this bucket. That's very analytically smart and are manipulating the comp pick formula. So for people that don't know, players that you sign right now, if you sign them to a certain amount of money, can hurt you in the compensatory pick formula and can stop you from maybe getting a comp pick. Levi Wallace is signing for so cheap, that's not a concern there, or like Sam Mustafa or whatever. But if it's like, I think it's a top 100 free agent, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of like average annual value. Justin Simmons will be a top 100 free agent whenever he signs, and probably like top 25 or so. So if you're a team that doesn't want to lose maybe a 3rd round comp pick or a 4th round comp pick, and you see the current like market around Justin Simmons and that you can probably wait a while, I think that's what's happening here, and he gets signed after the draft by a contender.
Shouts out to Paul for donating $10, new highest donation of the evening. Paul, we appreciate you so much. Every time you're in here, you're always supporting the show. My friends are amazing every pod. Listen, Paul, you are amazing every pod. We appreciate you so much. That goes into the coffee fund. And by coffee fund, I mean the LTB contributor fund, where we keep this crazy train going for the foreseeable future. If you haven't already, we would ask that you head on over to letstalkbroncos.com, bookmark the page, and make sure you're checking back for not even just the most in-depth draft analysis that you're going to find on the market, but also some of just the most in-depth coverage in general for the Broncos. This offseason, although a lot of people would say is slow, it does not lack movement. And I think that we've got it covered over there with Zach's tutelage over on letstalkbroncos.com. You can also follow all of our links. You can see all of our contributors, learn more about us so that, we can learn more about you. We appreciate you so much. And yeah, this has been a ton of fun, a great show this evening. Anything else you guys want to throw out before we head on out of here? Watch some Nuggets basketball? Nuggets. And 4?
Go Nuggets. Yeah, I'm excited to watch the Nuggets tonight. And I'll echo what Bree just said. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting the show with super chats. That really does make a meaningful difference. I'll keep saying it because it really does matter to me. I'm very grateful for that. So thank you, everyone, for doing it, because it is above and beyond generous, Paul especially. And it really does make a meaningful impact. So thank you all very much.
Yes, please tune in on Thursday. Watch the Broncos take Patrick Paul. Watch me take a couple shots and leave right after. Yeah, that's all.
Can I just Venmo you all? That's wild. Maybe I'll drop my Venmo in here. I'm worried about scammers, spammers, and the unruly requests that one may get through the Venmo, but sure, yeah, I'll drop it. I trust Alex. All right, let's get out of here.
Send you feet pics for $10. If you send her a Venmo for $10, she will respond with a foot pic.
They're not going to be mine. They're going to be my partners.
Just hit her up at Zach_Seegers for those. No reason why. It's just, I guess, the fact that he's managing or something. I don't know.
It's easier for him.
Okay.
I'm a size 15. All right, guys, I'm out of here. See ya. Bye.